by the government this week after a 4-year-long battle between them and COSATU. According to COSATU, this act will benefit thousands of jobless workers and mothers going on maternity leave. This law will also increase both the Unemployed Insurance Fund benefit from 238 days to 365 and maternity benefit from 42% to 66%. Joining us from our studios in Cape Town this morning is Matthew Parks. He is COSATU's Parliamentary Co-ordinator. Mr. Marks, it's a very good morning to you and thank you so much for coming through.
Sure. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, just, take us back as to what this Amendment Act entails for the purpose of our viewers.
Sure. Look, it's a huge victory for workers. It's something COSATU fought very hard and long for. It's really going to help thousands of workers. It's going to increase our workers' unemployment benefits from 8 months to 12 months if they lose their jobs. It's also going to significantly increase maternity leave benefits for women going on maternity leave. So really, it's a massive victory for thousands of workers in an economy which is bleeding jobs.
Yeah, and COSATU was quoted as saying that the act should have been passed much earlier. Can you say that it's a little bit late, perhaps, for this act, as we've seen thousands of workers, including your mine workers, losing their jobs?
Sure, and that's been a source of great frustration for us. It's taken about 4 years to get it passed. But we're glad we're finally there. We're just waiting now for the Unemployed Insurance Fund to indicate how long will it take for it to come into effect. We're told the 1st of May, but in fact we would love to see it happen by April or March. Because again, workers are losing their jobs on a daily basis. The Unemployment Insurance Fund is a workers' insurance that they put money aside for. It's their money and they should be given access to it in the moments of need.
Yeah, and 4 years is such a long period, Mr. Marks. Why has it taken, so long for this act to come into being?
I think at times government doesn't always see the sense of urgency of situations on the ground. If you have a government job, you're a minister or you're a director general, you don't always feel the pain of workers on the ground. And that's an unfortunate thing. Really, if this act had been passed last year, when we lost about 52,000 jobs in the mines, that would have helped those families get an extra 4 months worth of unemployment insurance benefits. But look, that's water under the bridge. What we're happy for is to see this progressive law being passed. It's going to benefit hundreds of thousands of workers. We're glad this is the kind of work we'd expect from our ANC government to pass progressive laws to help the most vulnerable. But again, we'd hope the government would learn from this and move faster in future.
Yeah, but how will it help, like, your ordinary workers on the ground, your farm workers, for example? Because it is also said that it's a little bit easier with, this act to claim your benefits.
Sure. Look, they've removed certain obstacles to claiming your benefits. They've also extended the time within which you can claim your benefits. The major benefits is threefold, I can say. One is that if you lose your job, for whatever reason, you will get 12 months benefit now. You won't get just 8 months worth of UIF. So that's 50% increase, which is huge. Again, if you're going maternity leave, your benefits would increase from 54 to 66% of your salary. If you had a miscarriage during your 3rd trimester, if you had a stillborn birth, you'll be covered. They've also separated maternity leave benefits from UIF benefits so that you can be covered for both. It also covers workers who went on reduced time, that if they are retrenched or lose their jobs, they would get the full UIF payments that are due to them before the hours were reduced. It covers learners under UIF as well. It also helps that if you are receiving UIF benefits and you pass away, your beneficiaries will receive the remaining benefits that are due to you. So there's quite a few progressive things. And also the good thing is that it pumps in literally billions of rands into the economy, which will help stimulate economic growth at a lower level. So if workers have more money, they'll buy electricity, they'll buy petrol, food, etc., which will help the economy grow as well.
All right, so it covers almost everyone in the workforce, I believe, including your interns.
Yes.
All right. Now, talk to us about the beneficiary side of the act in terms of if a family member dies, what happens?
Sure. The new provision is that if you are receiving UIF benefits or maternity leave benefits, and unfortunately if you pass away, that the remaining benefits due to you would then go to your family, which again is very important. If you have a single worker in the family and you pass away, at least they'll be covered for the remaining part of the 12 months UIF or the remaining part of the maternity leave benefits. So that also helps the family in the moment of tragedy and the moment of need as well, which is quite progressive and important.
And I believe that the fact that some of the time constraints have also been relaxed will also help the family members of the deceased to be able to claim within a certain period.
Yeah, so they've also increased those benefits that you can claim within 12 months as well, which also helps people, especially in rural areas or in villages or in townships, who may not be aware of all the bureaucracies of government. It helps them to have more time to go and claim, and again, it's a progressive and it's a compassionate part by government.
So what happens now, Mr. Max? The act has been, when will it come into effect? Because it's just, the bill has just been signed. When will it come into effect?
Sure. The UIF board must still make its official announcement. Parliament passed it last year. The president signed it about 2 weeks ago. So the UIF board must now officially indicate. We've been told that they're likely to indicate the 1st of May for the starting date. We're hoping to convince them that we don't think it needs to take 3 months to get the systems ready. We're hoping to push for 1st of April, but look, we'll have to wait for them to make the official announcement. But for us, the sooner the better, because you have workers who lose their jobs on a daily basis through dismissals, retrenchments, etc. And really, they need to be helped, and this is their money. There's sufficient funds in the UIF. There's a surplus, and it should go to workers who need it at the most difficult times of their lives.
Yeah, because I also wanted to ask as to how is it going to make your workers, COSATU, easier to be able to represent your workers, your members rather.
Sure. Yeah, look for us. I mean, we appreciate the UIF. It's a very progressive thing. It's done very important work. But again, it's almost a scandal that we have a surplus in the UIF fund when you have 1 out of 3 workers unemployed, when we've had the economy bleeding jobs in the thousands last year, and then we have surplus of funds sitting in a fund dedicated to assist the unemployed. So for us, it's been a very painful contradiction. But we're glad we've been able to convince government and the UIF board that there's a need to shift more money to the poor, and we welcome that. It's a big achievement. We hope for more achievements. And in fact, we've also been able to convince government and the UIF board that we need to have another round of engagements on further expansion to look at informal sector workers, look at paternity, parental adoption leave, and also to look at people who are forced to resign from their jobs. So that's the next round of engagements we hope to have later this year.
All right, so COSATU is satisfied, but in the meantime, you're still looking for more engagements on the issues that you've just mentioned.
Yes, no, we always need to keep pushing. Workers are in a difficult situation, and until every worker has got a job, we need to look at how to assist the unemployed as much as possible.
Yeah. But then, will the Minister of the Department of Labour perhaps be able to issue regulations, maybe for certain professions?
Yes, that's another useful and progressive part of the bill, that she can issue regulations around maternity leave benefits for domestic workers, for workers working for small and medium companies, just in case they might fall through the cracks inadvertently. So she can issue special regulations to try to assist them. And also, if there's sufficient funds in the UIF in future, she can actually increase the benefits where funds are available without having to go back to Parliament. So that's a much faster process, because when you go back to Parliament, as we've seen, it can take 4 years to get a bill passed. So if she can issue regulations, that can be done in literally a matter of months. So those are 2 very useful changes as well.
All right, no, it is very indeed, Mr. Parks. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Sure, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much indeed. That's Matthew Parks. He is COSATU Parliamentary Co-ordinator, talking to us about the Unemployed Insurance Amendment Act that's been signed by President Jacob Zuma about 2 weeks back, and, outlining to us the beneficial side of this act to the ordinary workers of South Africa.